everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Retreat. Now, well, I didn't finish my intro, whatever. This video is intentionally late, so don't be mad at me. This is purposely going up on Veterans Day, or Armistice Day, as I used to say it. So, today, this is just a video thanking all our servicemen and women who have served in any conflict ever, basically, or who are currently serving in those conflicts, or have died in those conflicts. So I'm going to share a war story after this that I find pretty interesting. But first, I would like to say thank you to all of our men and women in any country that serve, have served, or died serving in the military. Thank you very much. It's incredible what you do, the sacrifices you make, so we can be doing things like this, making videos with freedom of speech. You know, in North Korea, I'd probably get shot for making this video. I mean, not for making this video, but necessarily for making a video. So, thank you very much. Now, let's go ahead and get into the war story. Okay, so for our war story today, I thought I'd share with you all the story of Leo Major, or Leo Major. He was a French-Canadian. Going into our story, Sergeant Leo Major, DCM, 1921 to 12th of October 2008, was a French-Canadian soldier in the Regiment de la Chaudière, probably pronouncing that wrong, in World War II, and he also served in the Korean War. He was the only Canadian and one of only 3 soldiers in the British Commonwealth to ever receive the Distinguished Conduct Medal twice in separate wars. So, basically, what did he do? Why am I sharing? He kind of... well, let's just say he liked to go Leroy. Yeah, he liked to go Leroy. He was very built on the principle of if you went Leroy, if you went Rambo, you would make it in life. So, basically, in the Allied landings in France, he captured a vehicle by himself, German vehicle, which, you know, contained German army codes. Which isn't that important, but then, days later, during his first encounter with the SS Patrol, he basically killed 4 soldiers in an SS Patrol by himself, which is pretty good. Just, you know, straight out Leroy'd the kids, I'm guessing. But one of them managed to ignite a phosphorus grenade, which, if you don't know what a phosphorus grenade is, it's not good. After it exploded, he lost one eye, but when asked to go home, he simply refused, put on an eye patch, and just fought on. And he continued his service as a scout and a sniper by insisting that he only needed one eye to sight his weapon. And so then during the Battle of the Scheldt, basically what happens is he sees these guys walking on the road, these 2 German soldiers, and he thinks, he's mad because he's wet and he's frozen. And so he wants to make these guys pay. So he goes up, he captures one, the second attempts to shoot Major, but Major kills him really quickly. And then he goes on to capture their commanding officer and force them to surrender. The German garrison surrendered themselves after 3 more were shot dead by Major. So basically, he just takes 2 guys hostage, shoots one, and then just Leroy's 3 other kids, and the Germans are so scared that they follow him. He actually escorted 93 German soldiers back to Canadian lines. I'm not joking. And when he marched back to camp, he was given he was chosen to receive a DCM. Dang, I just forgot the name. It'll come. Something conduct medal. He declined to be decorated because General Montgomery was giving the award, and he considered him incompetent. So he didn't take it. Distinguished Conduct Medal. His first Distinguished Conduct Medal. That's what I was going to say. So he could have had 3 Distinguished Conduct Medals, but he turned one down. And then he gets his first Distinguished Conduct Medal. In February 1945, he was helping someone load corpses from a Tiger tank into a burden carrier. After they finished loading the bodies, the driver seated themselves in the front. He jumps on the back of the vehicle. The carrier soon struck a landmine. Major claims to have remembered a loud blast falling by his body being thrown into the air and smashing down hard as he landed on his back. He lost consciousness and basically awakes to two medics trying to assess his condition. He just simply asks if the guy driving was okay. And so basically, they take him to a field hospital, and the doctor at the field hospital told him that his back is broken in 3 places, 4 of his ribs are broken, and both of his ankles are broken. This guy broke all these bones, and he was just worried if the driver was okay. That's ridiculous. And then, so they say they're gonna have to send him home, but he literally steals a Jeep and goes AWOL, or it's basically AWOL, but they called it AWOA, absent without authority. I don't know if it's said AWOA, but I'm gonna call it AWOA. There's a lack of sources regarding how he was to avoid punishment, which is kind of strange. Usually the army's like, you must get punishment. In the beginning of April, the Regiment de la Chaudière were approaching the city of Zwol, which presented a strong German resistance. Basically, the commanding officer asked for 2 guys to go up and advance and scout on the city before artillery attacked. So, him and his friend Corporal Willie Arsenautiel, we'll just call him Willie, stepped forward to accept the task. Obviously, in order to keep the city intact, the pair decided to try and capture Zwol alone, though they were only supposed to recon the German numbers and attempt a contact with Dutch resistance. Around midnight, Willie was killed by a German machine gun fire after accidentally giving the position away. Obviously, this kind of made Major mad. So basically what he does, he jumps in, kills the 2 Germans, I'm guessing with his knife, because, I mean, every Leroy uses his knife. He takes machine guns, straps them on his back, takes a bag of grenades, goes through the town, starts firing his machine gun at everything he sees, kicking down doors, sticking his gun in people's face, shooting them, tossing grenades everywhere, making so much noise that the Germans actually think a Canadian force was attacking the city in earnest. And so literally, he's going and capturing German troops. About 10 times through the night, he captured groups of 8 to 10 German soldiers, escorted them out of the city, and gave them to the French-Canadian troops that were located in the vicinity. He literally, after that, he returned to Zwol to keep doing his attacks. He literally just kept firing machine guns everywhere. I'm guessing he got a lot of machine guns off of the dead guys he got. He threw so many grenades, and then, as you can tell, he got a little bit upset when he saw the Gestapo HQ, and he set it on fire. He burns down the Gestapo, and then he burns down the SS headquarters. And then he kills a bunch of high-ranking Nazi officers, 8 to be precise. By 4 a.m., he found out that the Germans had retreated. Zwol had been liberated by a single man. Literally, a single man. They now teach about him in their schools there, that he saved their city. And I'm not making this up, by the way. I mean, the computers don't lie. The screen doesn't lie. So, the Korean War and his second Distinguished Cross, Conduct Medal, Distinguished Cross, Victoria Cross, whatever. He's already Leroy Jenkins, but this is his last act of Major Leroy Jenkins. So, so basically, this position, Hill 355, was being controlled by the U.S. Infantry Division, about 10,000 men with the 64th Chinese Army, around 4,000 men started lowering artillery barrages. Over the next 2 days, the Americans were pushed back by the 190th and 191st Divisions of the Chinese. They tried to recapture the hill, obviously, but without any success. And the Chinese had moved on to nearby Hill 227, practically surrounding the U.S. forces. In order to relieve pressure, Lieutenant Colonel J.A. Dexterous, commanding officer of the 2nd Battalion, 22nd Regiment, a lot of 2s there, brought up an elite scout and sniper team led by Leroy Jenkins, Leo Major, wielding Sten guns. So these guys are like just wielding good old Sten guns, reliable guns. Major and his 18 men silently crept up the hill. At a signal, Major's men opened fire, panicking the Chinese, and they were trying to understand why the firing was coming from the center of their troops instead of the outside. By 12:45, they had retaken the hill. I'm serious. 19 men crawled up a hill into the middle of Chinese forces and just mowed them down. I'm serious. However, an hour later, two Chinese divisions, the 190th and 191st, totaling around 14,000 men, keep that number in mind, counterattacked. Leroy, Major, was ordered to retreat, but obviously, by now, refused and found scant cover for his men. There, he held off the enemy throughout the night. They were so close to him that his own mortar shells he were calling in were practically raining down on him. For 3 days, his men held off multiple Chinese counter-assaults until reinforcements arrived. He was awarded the Bar to the Distinguished Cross medal. Leroy Jenkins, I need to stop calling him Leroy Jenkins. No, I'm just kidding. 19 men held off a Chinese counter-assault of 14,000 men for 3 days. I think this man is a little bit of a Leroy Jenkins. I don't know. I should probably edit. No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna do something. Okay, never mind. On the night of 13th of April 19, that was wrong article. Major died in Longueuil. That's probably pronounced wrong again. On the 12th of October, and was buried at the Last Post Fund National Field of Honor in Pointe Claire, Quebec. Wow. That is a man I would want to meet. If I could go back in time, I'd want to meet this Leroy Jenkins. I would really want to meet him. So, yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to all our soldiers, men and women who have fought, died, or are still serving in the military. I will have a minute of silence in just a second to remember all of our fallen or wounded in combat. Stay safe, wherever you are, and I'll see you at the retreat. Goodbye. For any of you who stayed with me during that minute of silence, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.